Okay, welcome back everyone, and hello to our audience on Zoom. Just a quick recap for everyone over there. As part of our 30th anniversary, we've launched our 30 for 30 fundraising campaign to overcome drastic nationwide cuts in arts funding to reading series. Please check out the 30 for 30 page on our website, join our campaign, and complain to your politicians. Right? Thank you, Zoe. And now we're going to move on to our featured readers. Our first poet tonight is Susan Wismer. Susan Wismer lives gratefully on Treaty 18 territory at the southern shore of Manidoo-gitchigami, Georgian Bay in Ontario, with 2 human partners and various cohabitating plants, trees, and critters. In 2024, she released Hand Shadows, a chapbook of texts and photos co-authored with dancers Michelle Green and Suzette Sherman from Wintergreen Press. Her collection, Hag Dances, great title, came out in May 2025 with At Bay Press in Winnipeg. Please welcome Susan.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how delighted I am to be here. Don't know why I leave my shoes at your door. Don't know how to stop, though you tell me don't bother. It's my mother's voice, louder than any present moment, her ghostly embrace. The truth is, the house I was raised in is always a mess. But she taught me to love my own unshod foot, bare on wood floors. Don't know why that stays with me when so much else is gone. Today, the pink poppies are paddywhacked bobbleheads, heave in wind and rain, wild, waving, tall, silver-furred stalks, thin, fringed pink petals. Holding on must be hard, but they keep their heads on. They keep themselves together. I just can't help wishing my own soft body was that strong. Don't know how to begin to stop seeing all that's gone wrong so far today. If I turn off my cell phone, you can't call me. And I want you to know that I'm here. I didn't realize until I started to prepare for this reading how much of this book is actually about my mom. She was born and raised in Vancouver and lived in Ontario for some of her adult life and joyfully moved back to the coast as soon as she could at the age of 55. So lived in Sydney for 30 years. I spent quite a lot of time visiting her there. Here's a poem about a visit to my mom. Pentimento, red cedar, afternoon rain, an unbroken oyster shell good for a soap dish, gnarled twist of driftwood, scents of my mother, 2 smooth gray branches, a knot like an eye. Clouds on the mountain again, oil pastels laid down layer upon layer. Mount Baker's tip barely comes through. The ferry shakes, trembles, heaves from the shore. On the railing, blue veins, knob joints, index finger turns in. My own hand becoming heron's claw, hers. In my suitcase, 1 painting, red scarf, her blue bowl. I'm honored to have my partners here with me, Gloria and Lou. And we came here on the train from Toronto, which I highly recommend. Put your pennies in a bucket and save them and do it. And I have been fortunate to be on that train a couple times now. I want to ask Gloria and Lou to come up and read a poem with me written about Via Rail 1, which, as some of you may know, is the train that goes from Toronto to Vancouver. What measures a life? Fox tracks, red blood, white snow, bits of fur, birches clustered together, companionable shelter, this train passing.
Settled in, you here beside me, snow, bright winter sun, clouds, Lake Superior, Manitoba Prairie, Northern Lights, Canada, passing.
This morning I ache, left shoulder, stiff neck, right hip, new constant pain, or today's simple discomforts passing.
Your warm, sloping thighs, our bodies just as they are, acceptance at last, a tenderness I once felt only in passing.
Missed turns, unmarked paths, retraced steps, much unmet searching. Our earlier years had no slowing down. What did I miss in my bypassing?
This robust red glow, well aged in my hand, rounded and welcome. Burgundy wine, slow sips on my tongue, evening rolls by, passing.
Trains' leisured motion, rhythmic rumbles, click-clacks, whistle stops, sidings.
Your hand in mine, sounds of our voices, cadence of years passing.
Wordless wheels turning, songs of our passages. Not always easy, but here we are, travelers in landscapes, lifetimes passing. Spirits. My ancestors are made of madness. Cape Breton strathspeys, evictions, Highland clearances, secrets, resentment, red hair. My ancestors appear in bagpipes, old rubber boots, dance on worn kitchen floors, language lilts shadows. Ghost Gaelic traces lift off my flat English tongue. Dairy cows, sea air, 2 pigs, burnt houses, black-faced sheep, croft homes abandoned, all left behind. What they could take when they left to pass down, my stubborn Scottish pride. I am really delighted that Kieran was able to come tonight. She mentored me through the early stages of many of these poems with much grace and diligent effort. And one of the things that happened when I got one of the mentorships, I had 2 with her. I don't remember which one it was. She said, "Well, what would you like to work on?" I said, "I think I'd like to learn how to write a sonnet." So she tried really hard. Anyway, and there is a crown of sonnets in this book, all based on friends of mine from the kitchen. This one is called Saucepan. Life arrives, holds us, turns, leaves, goes on. Like saucepan, disappearing after years of daily use. Copper mottled bottom, green, handle loose from all the heft and heat of favorite foods. Morning's fragrant oatmeal, lunchtime soups, yesterday's beef stew reheated. The cupboard space looms vacant, but lonely lid still lingers there. Longing has us haunted. Saucepan's loss weighs heavier each day in our empty hands. Bamboo spoon, bereft of close companion, wonders, waits, calls out. Where did you go, saucepan, old pot? Strange, replies spoon, how absence comes to stay, holds space, palpable, present, unnamed. How are we doing for time?
Great.
Good.
Okay, I'll check. I feel like you came so far. Oh, I think you're doing good.
Okay.
Yep, time for one more for sure.
All right.
Does that
Well,
work?
might as well do one more about my mom because she just seems to have moved in and taken over the reading anyway. Mother's Evening Dance. One hand holds the small silver opening up to the light. Black thread, measured nose tip to arm stretch. 3 quick turns around a forefinger. Roll of a thumb makes a knot. Chestnut curls at the back of her neck jump to the snap of snipping front teeth. Lips and tongue moisten one end before she slips in the thread. On it a trace of red lipstick lips, Revlon, fire and ice. Under the lamp, small lifts and falls, hand shadows. On her lap, fabric, cut, patch, stitch, green, yellow, brown, tomato pincushion, lamplit moving thread. Shining needles dip and return through worn elbows, gaped knees, ripped sleeves gone unseamed, until, weary from gathering all that is torn into her hands, she stands and turns, leaves what remains unrepaired for tomorrow. Her arms upward bend, reach of her hand, twist of a wrist. The lamp switches click, darkened room. And I'll do one last one. This is Visibility, written after Keveh Akbar, a favorite poet of many of us, I think. I don't invite your judgment. I don't ask for this body's frailties. You will never see me. All I am is much too large to fit inside your eye. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Great ending. Thank you very much. And also to your partners for joining in. It is now my pleasure to introduce Rahat Kurd. Rahat Kurd is a poet and writer based in Vancouver. The Book of Zed, Talonbooks 2025, is her second full-length work of poetry. Her previous titles with Talonbooks are The City That Is Leaving Forever, Kashmiri Letters from 2021, co-authored with Kashmiri poet Sumayya Syed, and Cosmophilia, Poems from 2015. For 1,000 years, the story of Zuleika, the wife of Aziz in the Quran, has been celebrated in classical and contemporary Persian and Urdu poetry. At the same time as the biblical wife of Potiphar, she has been just as indelibly cast as temptress in Western traditions. In the Book of Zed, Rahat Kurd vividly imagines Zuleika reflecting on what consolations human desire and divine longing might offer our shared present tense. Please welcome Rahat.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Kieran, and to everyone who is part of the Planet Earth poetry community for having me. It's such an honor. I'm grateful to Anna for reading a little introduction to what this book is about. So I am just going to dive right in. I'll read from, I think, 4 different sections of the book, and then we'll just see how we'll see how that works out in terms of time. The entire work is written in the imagined voice of this figure, Zuleika. This is from a segment of the book called Zuleika Alone. What a miracle it is to wake up every day. And still, how hard it is to wake up and be good. How hard it is to wake up and still be good, to be good again. How hard it is to wake up and face the necessity of believing in my own goodness again, to fumble around for it like a pair of spectacles I can't see without, fearful that this time it's lost, it's really gone. These are the mornings the bereft know, we who have been stripped of belonging, turfed out of worlds we loved. Such selves as remain to us in the aftermath of devastation, we regard with wariness. How hard it is not to think, what's to stop this self, too, from vanishing at any moment? Philosophers shake their heads sadly at the locked door where I keep knocking. How hard it is not to argue, but I was given such a dazzling welcome here once. The mystics try to convince me that mirrors roam the universe in search of souls like mine to reflect. How hard it is not to say, I'm itching to throw stones. This section is called Zuleika Considers Her Options. It begins with an epigraph from a Qawwali song, a Punjabi Sufi folk song, sung by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. It's a song about the story of Yusuf and Zuleika. Said Yusuf, this is my own translation of a little chorus. Said Yusuf, tell me, Zuleika, what became of your youth, your shining beauty? Said Zuleika, I sacrificed them to my passion for you. There's a game I play with time, against time. You've heard of it. Desperation brings you to the stark face of the cliff. You got here by your own will. You'll have to make a choice. Take the step that will open you to the unknown. But another part of you, soft, faltering, replays a promise of enchantment, lapsing into memory, like an illness in childhood that stings even strict parents into moods of indulgence. I lapse into a memory of Yusuf this way, unplanned encounter, already becoming a dream, his face lit by late afternoon gold, my sight going blank as if my disbelief could not hold his image steady. This would be the moment, memory suggests, you would go back to if you could, isn't it? When his eyes met yours, that light hovered above your head, that possibility flickered before polite convention broke your silence. Treacherous memory, shady swindler. Yes, damn you, I want to be her again. Over her clear eyes, the admiring makeup counter staff had sighed, they are your fortune. Her throat unlined, her hands supple, free of pain, and the moment, the possibility were mine. But what if beauty only dwells in the tender apprehension of damage which hasn't happened yet? Whatever the poet promised, whatever he owed his audience, whatever precipice we all come to, abandoned, left for dead in the dust-off roads built by imperial armies. Doesn't it bring us low, the wish to go back, the vain lust to relive a few vital hours, to reverse a life towards the pearls and emeralds of wish fulfillment? For all that Jami triumphs in my remorse, claiming me for lovers of Sirat al-Mustaqim. Later he turns ambivalent, overheated, lurid. It's true the patriarchs expect all widows to become irrational harridans, but I believed in beauty's creator, Yusuf's God. Why would I pluck out my own eyes? Why would I give up the hard-won friendship with myself? Fall backward off time's sheer cliff with no belay? The fantasy betrays every azizatu nafsiha. No, I won't be her again, that girl off her head in desire's first throes, convinced she has plumbed depths, attained summits worthy of mortals. She has waded into mere shallows. This is from the beginning of the book, Zuleika, protagonist. It begins with an epigraph from Michael Sells, who is a scholar and translator of Arabic literature. Union with the beloved, though eternal, is also, within our world of space and time, ephemeral. It is a valid manifestation of the real, al-haq, but it cannot be possessed. The moment I see him as missed footing on a downward stair. The moment I see him as a premonition remembered too late. The first time I see him, a faint alarm rises to deafen an inadequate grammar. Subject, verb, object will not convey how wildly space and time, having propelled our lives across billions of improbabilities towards this encounter, now stop short. The sublime workings of physics, geologic time, planets aligned at my birth, leave me indifferent, but desire must have its way, push past unprepared reason, overwhelm the earthbound human body, force the contest between polite manners and mortality, demand comparisons to suns and oceans, strain the resources of poets and public treasuries and nuclear disarmament collectives. It's a shock I'll never recover from. Space, that dealer of swaggering enormities, that crutch of human consciousness, leaving so little of itself between our faces, knowing I will prove unequal to closing the remaining distance, No unscalable walls, no impassable mountain ranges, just this space folding itself meekly, space bowing humbly before the tyrant of time. His face brings slow astonishment, wonder of desire, warmth to a sensibility chilled by perpetual winter. Mantle of solitude marked for me from birth, promises finally to slide off my shoulders. Before the alarm begins to shrill, before the drugging wonder becomes the calamity of separation, before the patriarchs overwrite my electrified embodiment, let me grasp by a micron the truer prize on which women need me not to lose my grip, the narrative charge of my first person. As if my own eyes called it into being. When I look at him, my discernment saves the moment from oblivion. My desire makes possible our future in all its vexed and lyrical tellings. Yusuf washes dishes at my sink. Poetry might begin here, in the flow of water over his fingers, in the rhythm of his arms, in the rise of his torso from hips braced in the simple labor, from which we both know he'll win freedom soon enough. Cosseted as I am, sheltered with all my prestige, I know I dwell in margins marked off by prerogatives of capital, social codes of men who write his hours, brother schemers, despot dreamers. And I envy the flow of water over Yusuf's fingers. To extract the feeling I want from him, to demand what no king or vizier, no sycophant would sanction, would make me a tyrant more petty than they, coveting, concocting an art and a science to bring his mouth onto mine, to make it stop time, to make it stop time. To look at him is to be nearly blinded with an apprehension of something worse than loss. The space between us, impassive, while time, unfurling its banner, shakes all my future nights free of his radiance, trampling my chest with never having. The very same instant desire springs to life within it. Unreasoningly, I feel my fury rise and turn to horses. My fury requisitions all the horses that ever raced across poetry, from Chang'an to Urumqi, from Samarkand to Smyrna, sweeping across all the cities that ever sang promises to women of enduring safety and love, betraying them, leaving them undefended. I see them all vividly, the cities we will win and lose, how we will weep over their orphans and curse their pillagers before time releases its vengeful grip on the sovereignty of my past and the nights of my future. My best critics will advise my readers with every eye that falls upon this line. Zulekha sees Yusuf for the first time. How's that? How's our time? We had a wonderful reader share a ghazal earlier this evening, which I really appreciated. There's two English language ghazals in this collection. And I will read one from the ekphrastic segment, which is in the middle of this book. It's called The Ground of a Ghazal, or Zameen-e-Ghazal. I wrote this ghazal for my friend, the poet Khashayar Mohammadi, and for an artist who is based in Kashmir named Mudassar Gul. So the ghazal is dedicated to them both. And the life worth writing about, is it worth living alone somewhere, The resolute course no Kashmiran reverses, having flown somewhere. Why do we call it sublimity, that terrifying cosmic indifference? Does it lessen mortal pain to carve a name in stone somewhere? Another xenophobe bans another Muslim thing, but every 29th of January, même les péquistes les plus haineux need a public face to atone somewhere. I wish their rock faces would erode faster, those freedom confounding fathers. Every time I hear another sister in dread of forced birth groan somewhere. Like summer solstice, Aleppo kept time by the sung poems of Andalusia. The white moon never rose over us, but our time in exile shone somewhere. Our poetics of solidarity bloom, and a rose fills police with suspicion. They outlaw the metaphor, but still can't kill the seed sown somewhere. The mystery of those pages left blank, so strange for a calligrapher, as if to Yusuf and Zulaikha, Merak yielded his own zameen, his own somewhere.